What is going on? Welcome to another TubeBuddy live stream. My name is Nimmin. If this is your first time on the TubeBuddy channel, and this is your first time watching a TubeBuddy video or participating in the live stream, and you want to learn how to really grow your YouTube channel from people that have access to tons of data, that work with a lot of different channels and things like that to help you grow your channel, then make sure that you subscribe right now if you haven't already. So I have a huge announcement to make here. So TubeBuddy just did a holiday giveaway, and basically included in that holiday giveaway, one of the things that they were giving away in the holiday giveaway was a channel evaluation from me. So we're going to break this down into two different things here. Basically, we're going to do one where we're actually going to pull her up on screen, and I'm going to announce her right here in just a moment. And in addition to that, I'm also going to do a more in-depth channel evaluation for her privately as well, so that we can, basically give her all of the tips and tricks and tools and knowledge that she needs in order to really do something with her YouTube channel, or at least make the adjustments. And then what she does from there, I guess, is ultimately on her. But I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner right here in a second. And I just realized, okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner. And the winner of that giveaway is Susan Evolves. Susan Evolves basically is helping people learn to see the beauty in everything. So here later in the stream, after we get through the basic topics, we are going to be basically, in addition to her channel, we're also going to be pulling up a few other channels on the screen as well. But to get her started, we're going to give her some quick tips here on some things that she can do on her channel right away. So before we get into that, I want to say congratulations to you, Susan, and thank you for participating in the giveaway. We really appreciate it, and congratulations for winning that giveaway. Anybody else that didn't win, stay tuned for next year and the random stuff that TubeBuddy does throughout the week. And just by being a TubeBuddy user, you win by default, because you are basically cutting down the workload on your channel. You're cutting down the learning curve on ranking your videos and all that, so you win by default anyway. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about how to grow your YouTube channel in 2018. Now, this is extremely important. Everything that I'm going to be sharing with you today is extremely important if you're really wanting to get results on your channel in 2018. Now, here's the thing. Some people don't care. Some people just want to upload videos and hope everything works out, and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want to actually apply some strategy to what you're doing and give yourself an advantage to really grow here on the platform, then what I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to be of huge value to you. Now, I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly because I want to, like I mentioned when I had Susan's channel up on the screen, I want to make sure that I also have enough time to, one, answer your YouTube questions, and two, I want to pull some other channels up here on the screen and give some quick tips on them, as well as giving some Susan some advice later here towards the end of the stream on what she should be doing with her channel. In addition to that, Andrew Can is moderating the chat, so I just want to give a big high five and fist bump to Andrew Can. Thanks, my man, for moderating the chat. He's saying Happy New Year right now. So in addition to him saying Happy New Year, I also want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Welcome to 2018, and we're trying to make it awesome for all of us. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about how to grow your YouTube channel in 2018, basically the things that you need to keep in mind in order to get that rolling. And some of the topics we're going to be covering is we're going to be covering content strategy. We're going to be covering the power of playlists, which is extremely important. We're going to be covering content discovery, and we're going to be covering the basics of growing your YouTube community. So the first thing that we are going to start with is we are going to start with content strategy. Now, when it comes to content strategy, it's really important that you have a purpose for each video. Now, here's what I mean by that. When I say you want to have a purpose for each video, basically you want to say, this video here, I'm uploading this because this particular topic is something that I can rank easier than other topics. It's something that typically drives more people to my channel, and it's something that typically converts viewers into subscribers better than any other content on my channel, right? So that's that video. You also have the videos that you do for this that one's for views. I'm sorry. And then the second one is basically, this one is specifically for the sake of generating subscribers, because those subscribers or the people commonly subscribe to this type of video over the other type of videos. The third is stuff that has more of like a wide spread audience, right? So as an example, something that people could share, something that maybe you put in a little bit more time into, or something like that, to where people can take that content and they say, wow, this is fantastic. This is really meaningful to me. This is really helpful to me, or something like that. And it generates shares from people. But the idea that you want to keep in mind with this, and again, I'm going through this quickly, but I have this stuff up on the screen. Feel free to screenshot it when I pull it back up on the screen. But the idea here is that you want to make sure that you have a purpose for each video. So instead of just making a video and putting it up on YouTube and saying, okay, I'm just making stuff as I want to make it, figure out what it is that you want to accomplish for each video. Is it views? Is it subscribers? Are you trying to generate leads? Are you trying to get traffic to a website? Like, what is it specifically for each video that you're doing, and figure out which type of video is the most effective to serve each purpose that you're doing. Now, another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing when you are lining out your video ideas for 2018, or if you just do it on a monthly basis or 6 months at a time, when you're lining out all of your content for 2018, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, how can I tie this content together, right? You want to say, how can I have this video here actually link to this video here? How can I have video A linked to video B? How can I have video B linked to video C, and so on? So what you want to do when you're filling out all of your brainstorming on all of the topic ideas that you're going to cover for 2018, or at least the next 30 days, then what you want to do is you want to say, okay, how can I kind of marry some of this content together to where I can make references to this other piece of content? As an example, let's say that you're doing dog grooming videos. I don't know why I picked dog grooming videos, but let's say that you're doing dog grooming videos and you say, okay, this video here, we're going to be showing how to trim the hair of dogs, right? Just as an example here. So basically you would make that video on how to trim the hair on dogs. And then you would also have another video as part of that strategy to where you would say, okay, well, this one is the a review on these particular clippers, or this particular set of tools to groom a dog. So basically when you make this content, you can refer to this content, and when you make the grooming tools video, then you can refer that video back to the actual dog grooming video. Hey, if you want to see this stuff in action, then make sure that you check out this video. I'm going to put a card to it right up here and a link down in the description so that you can go over and you can check out that actual dog grooming video as well. Technology Guru in the house. What is going on? Welcome to 2018, my friend. Nice to see you in here as well. So, in addition to that, as part of your content strategy, it's also very important that you create regular series playlists. And what I mean by that is basically, in case you're not familiar with playlists on YouTube, it's basically to where you group videos together, right? So what you want to do is you want to group videos together into a playlist, and then you have the option to actually convert those playlists into series playlists. And the benefit for this is basically YouTube tells us, and you can actually see it once you start doing this, YouTube tells us that if you put videos in a series playlist, they are more likely to recommend the videos that are in that series playlist next to the video that's currently playing. So what you're doing there is you're increasing your chances of your video showing up in the sidebar, and you're increasing the chances of your video showing up in the autoplay, or the next up video that's going to come right after your video is playing, as long as it's part of the series in that playlist. So what you want to think about when you're doing these playlists, we'll go into this a little bit more here in a second, but what you want to think about is basically in these playlists, you want to think about, okay, hey, I want to have a bunch of series playlists. I don't want to have just one series playlist. I don't want to have just 3 series playlists in 2018. I want to be putting out series playlists all the time. So what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I'm going to take my series playlist when I'm coming out with my topic ideas, how I'm going to refer the videos to each other and all of that. Like I was saying a second ago, you're going to say, okay, how can I create content that I can put 5, 6, 7 videos at a time into one series playlist, where I can group all of these together. And then I can group this other playlist series together, and so on and so forth, so that you're basically creating content for the purpose what I was saying before about the purposing. You create content for the purpose of putting into a series playlist so that you can generate more watch time and all of that, which we'll go into here shortly. But the idea is when you're actually sketching out your content, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are, while you're sketching it out, you want to make sure that you are thinking of your playlist. So as an idea is you would say, okay, this is my topic A that I'm going to do, my topic B, my topic C, my topic D. And then you want to say, okay, now how can I connect these particular topics into one series playlist? And how can I verbally refer these to each other so that I can keep linking back into this series playlist and keep linking into other series playlists? An extremely powerful way to generate tons of extra views that you're probably missing out on, and to generate tons of extra watch time that you're probably missing out on as well. And Andrew Can is saying that he loves playlists, and he's always trying to find a new way to create them. You know, I'll be honest, on my channel, because I focus on this stuff for clients, but on my channel, I don't do this as much as I should, and I'm going to be doing it a lot more in 2018. So definitely pay attention to what's happening over there. So in addition to that, you also want to make sure that you have a publishing schedule, and that basically means that you are updating on a regular basis, and you want to figure out what you can commit to. And once you make that commitment, stick to it. Give yourself a chance. 2018, it's a new year. It's a fresh start for you, essentially. Pick a day or 2 days or 3 days or 5 days out of the week, whatever you can do, and commit to those days and say, no matter what, if I have to batch create content, if I have to make content that maybe isn't as good as I want, but it's close, so that I can get it up, so that I can make sure that I maintain the schedule for 2018 for the entire year, do it. Make that commitment right now that, yes, I am going to commit to X amount of times per week. No matter what happens, I'm going to make sure that I upload videos, or at least I go live on these particular days of the week for the entire year of 2018, so that you can give yourself a chance, okay? Now, another part of that is also deciding how many videos are you going to do versus how many live streams are you going to do. And again, you also want to think about the purpose of those, right? Like every Saturday on my channel, I stream live. TubeBuddy actually sponsors my live stream now. It's called Nimmin Live. You can check that out every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And basically, the thing with my live streams is my purpose for that is twofold. One, to connect with my community to answer questions that people have, kind of like we do here on this show. Number two is watch time. On my Saturday live streams, I gain watch time like a maniac. So the watch time that I gain on my live streams is massive, which helps my channel. And I'm creating that deeper connection with the people that watch my videos, which we'll get into that here a little bit later as well, which also benefits my channel long term. So with all the value that I'm giving there, it's all coming back to me in terms of watch time and connecting with my community. So as Andrew was saying a minute ago, that he loves making playlists. So the main reasons that you want to make playlists is, one, it helps you gain watch time and views like a beast, right? Like when you have when you're putting together playlists like that, it basically makes it easy for viewers to watch more of your content, especially if you're linking. If you're like, hey, I'm going to link to this particular playlist in all of my end cards. I'm going to link to these particular playlists in every time. I'm going to put it in my Twitter scheduled, where I'm always linking into these playlists. So basically, when people come in, they're on one video, and then they have the incentive to watch more videos in that playlist instead of YouTube auto-playing them by default, because, you know, they set the autoplay as a default, instead of YouTube auto-playing them something else that is not directly connected to you. This way you keep them within your sphere of content instead of sending them off to other people. Now, another thing that is extremely powerful with playlists, like I was saying before, is the actual series recommendations themselves. Because, and just to kind of reinforce this again, because YouTube specifically says that they are more likely to show the content, they're more likely to suggest the content next to other videos in that series playlist, because you're directly telling YouTube that this video is directly connected to this video, and they're all about the user experience, believe it or not. So because of that, they're trying to make sure that they are showing the content that is directly connected to that video, which is also yours. Now, another thing you got to think about in 2018 is content discovery. Now, this is extremely important. You can have, a friend of mine likes to call this the best hamburger in the world idea. Basically what it is you can have the best hamburger in the world, but if nobody knows that nobody's seen the hamburger to give them the opportunity to actually taste the hamburger and hold it in their hands, nobody is ever going to know that you have the best hamburger in the world. So the idea is that you have to market that hamburger. You have to get that hamburger out there. You have to get that hamburger in front of people, right? So in this case, the hamburger is the direct reference to the content that you're creating here on YouTube. You have to get your content in front of people. The first way that you do that is by making sure that you optimize every single video that you put up for search. Okay, and the reason for that, and that's SEO, search engine optimization, and the reason for that is because if you're just making random titles, right? Sure, you can hope that your videos show up in the suggested sidebar, but if you're strategically trying to rank your videos for specific terms that are going to continually drive traffic to your channel, as your video library grows, it's just going to keep driving more and more traffic to your channel. If you do that for all of the content that you make, you're going to have some videos that you're going to rank in great spots, and they're going to drive a lot of traffic to you via search. You have other videos that you're going to try to rank, and for whatever reason, they're not going to rank as well as you hoped, and therefore, they're still going to drive some traffic via search, but they're not going to drive a ton of traffic via search. In addition to that, you're also increasing your chances of ranking in Google and things like that, which you're not going to rank for if you just do a video called My Trip to the Mall, right? So you want to make sure that you're optimizing your content for search. And to do that, the most easy way to do that is you want to make sure that for every single video that you make, that you go up to the search bar in YouTube and you start typing in different ideas for how you would explain your video. Okay, so instead of like trip to the mall, you would do something maybe specific about the name of that mall if people are actually looking for that in your local area or something along those lines, so that you can kind of to it, so that you can show up when people search for that term. That's the whole idea. And another thing as well with ranking your video in search, even if you rank your videos, or even if your videos are getting suggested a lot, if you don't optimize your content for search, then you're missing out on all of this traffic over here that can be continually coming into your channel, in addition to what you're already getting from the suggested features, what you're already getting from the browse features, what you're already getting from people sharing your content and pulling traffic in that way. So it's basically just another source of traffic, eyeballs, views, watch time that you're pulling into your channel when you optimize your content for search. So if you're not optimizing your content for search in 2018, you're seriously creating a disadvantage for yourself, because that's an entire additional source of traffic that you're missing out on when it comes to getting discovered on YouTube. So another thing about content discovery is sharing is caring, right? And that's caring about your own content, that's being confident enough in the content and the value that you're providing to your viewers that you're open to share your content, not in a spammy way, not in a sub for sub way, not in a way that is like, hey, come and check out my video, but in a way to where you say, okay, this is the type of content that I'm making. Where can I put this on the internet? Where can I slide this video into questions people are asking? Where can I put this into places that are looking for content like mine? Where can I put this stuff on the internet to where they would welcome my content instead of looking at it like I'm putting it out there in a spammy way? As an example, just today, because I just did a podcast, I'm taking over a podcast called Tube Talk for VidPal, and in that podcast, it just went live today, and I was on Reddit earlier, and with that podcast, somebody in a podcast forum was saying, okay, hey, I'm using a Rode Procaster, which is this mic and the mic that we use in our studio. I'm using a Rode Procaster, but because of the interface they were using, it wasn't giving them a strong enough boost to their thing. So they were asking people about, the mics they use. And what I did is I took that and I said, okay, well, I can actually use this as an opportunity. So one, I'm going to give this guy some advice on, how to make his mic sound better. And two, I'm also going to drop a link to that podcast in there so that I have that link coming in from Reddit and the viewers coming in from Reddit for something that is completely unrelated, essentially, to what it is that I'm doing, but it's a good fit because those podcast people, this is why it's a good fit, those podcast people will go there, and because everything looks good and all of that in that particular setting, they're going to sit there and they're going to watch it for a while, and they're going to say, okay, well, the mic sounds great, but wow, look at this set. This set looks pretty cool too. Wow, what are they talking about? I'm a podcaster. Should I be putting my podcast stuff on YouTube? Right? So it's a perfect fit for even though it's unrelated in topic, it's a perfect fit for me to share my content there. Yes, I can see your questions. I see them stacking up there in the Google Doc. So if you have questions to answer, make sure that you're dropping them in the Google Doc. And I'll get to those here in just a bit. That's why I said I'm trying to run through this as fast as I can here so we can get to those. So we have a lot of stuff to cover today. The next thing on the list for content discovery is networking, and that basically means collaborations and I'll just call it miscellaneous outreach. So collaborations, we all know what collaborations are. Just in case you don't, collaborations are basically where you hook up with other creators or other people that do other things, and you say, hey, this is what I do. I'm going to make a video for you. You make a video for me, and then we're going to join up, or hey, we're going to meet up in this particular location. We're both going to make videos for our audiences, and then that's going to introduce my audience to you. That's going to introduce your audience to me, and we're basically going to exchange audiences and viewers that way, right? That can help you get discovered. In addition to that, you also have outreach. And what I mean by outreach is you can reach out to websites related to your niche. You can reach out to, here's the thing, you can even reach out to other resources in the niche that you offer. Like as an example, let's say that you do car videos and you do car repair type videos, right? That's the type of information that you share. If you're making videos like that, you can reach out to other people or other websites, I should say, in the car community, and you can say, okay, is it okay, talk to the moderators and say, is it okay that anytime somebody asks a question about something I have a video about, is it okay if I post my stuff here, right? Ask them, right? Do that outreach. Put yourself out there first and say, hey, I have an entire channel about how to fix cars, and your forum is about how to fix cars. How can we work together? Maybe it's not me posting my videos. Maybe it's me getting an ad on your website or something like that to help drive traffic to my stuff. But basically outreach, basically network, good old fashioned networking to see where you can connect with other people to help get traffic to your videos. And of course, at the end, you also have paid ads. Now with paid ads, I don't recommend that you do paid ads for the sake of getting views and subscribers unless you have a way to monetize those. That's my personal recommendation. Of course, if you got a bunch of money to spend, go for it. Do whatever you like in those terms. But if you're looking at even if you have a bunch of money to spend, it's best if you find a way to monetize your channel outside of doing just AdSense or something like that. Because if you're paying for ads, sure, you're swelling your social proof, sure, you're swelling your views, but at the end of the day, if you're not actually converting that traffic into something, then you're potentially taking a loss. So if you do have something that you're selling off of your channel, or you're collecting emails or something like that where you can remarket to them or something like that, then in that particular case, then it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't have any of those things in place, then I would use the paid ads as a very last resort. And at the end of the day, unless you have, like I said, unless you have that free money to spend, I would try to avoid it, because at the end of the day, your subscriber count doesn't necessarily pay your bills. Your view count doesn't necessarily, pay your bills. I mean, it does if you're getting tons of views. But, like if you're buying ads for the sake of trying to grow your channel or get your channel off of the ground, the amount that you're spending versus what's coming in you're going to take a loss, is what I'm getting at. So make sure that you're monetizing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and we've got 5 minutes here before I want to get into this other part, so I'm going to burn through these really fast for you. And if you have any questions about any of these also, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or DM me on Instagram or whatever, and I can go more in depth with on this with you. But when it comes to growing your community, there's something that I want you to look into when you get the chance, and that's called parasocial interaction. What parasocial interaction is, and it's something that you should tap into, if you can. What parasocial interaction is basically it's a one-sided relationship, okay? And basically what happens is because you are a YouTube content creator, because you're putting videos up on the internet and people are regularly watching your content, every time you upload a video, they're coming in, they're watching your stuff. Every time you tweet about something, they're getting involved in what it is that you're tweeting and things like that. And what happens is they start to develop a relationship with you that you don't even know exists as the content creator. Now, of course, there's people in your community that you're going to interact with as well, to where you can, to where they'll actually become friends and things like that. But outside of that, the people that are silent, that aren't really commenting as much, or they for whatever reason aren't standing out in your community, like you're creating a bunch of people that are into what it is that you're doing and that actually look at you as, a friend or somebody that I don't think confide in is the right word, but somebody that they know, right? They look at you as somebody on their list of people that they know, even though it's only coming from their side. So if you can tap into that, it's a win. Now, one way that you can tap into that, if you look over here on the far right of where I put the parasocial interaction, I put the word you, okay? Now, the reason this is so important is because when you are opening up videos and you're saying, hey guys, oh, hey, Evan Carmichael's in the chat. What's going on, Evan? Nice to see you in here. If you are putting, or if you open up your videos and you're like, hey guys, welcome to another video, this, that, and the other thing, what you're doing is you're diluting your ability to facilitate that parasocial interaction. So what you're doing when you do that is you're saying, okay, hey everybody, okay? But if you say hey, or if you just say, don't even say hey, right? You just start addressing everybody in your videos as you, and you start using singular language for everything it is that you're doing in your videos, then what's going to happen is the people that are watching your videos are going to feel like you're talking to them, right? And think about it for a second. When people are watching your videos, in most cases, people are watching your videos from the perspective, or not from the perspective, but they're sitting there on their phones. They're sitting there on their phones watching your videos, or they're sitting there on their computer watching their videos with headphones on or whatever. It's an individual experience in most cases when people are watching your content. So address that person that is watching your videos instead of trying to address an entire internet, because you want to create that connection with one person as they're watching your content on a person-by-person basis as your channel grows. TubeBuddy actually did a study for this with Hey.com and TubeFilter. Actually, I'm not sure if TubeFilter was actually a part of the study or not, but this was back in February of 2017. And they found that if you actually use the word you in the first 5 seconds of your video, that those videos, they found, had 66% more views. If you use the word you in the first 5 seconds, it increases your likes and other engagements by up to 68%, according to their case study. And that's huge, right? Because what you're doing there is you're creating that parasocial interaction. You're creating that connection, that one-on-one connection with the person that's watching your video. Out of everything that I've talked about so far today, this part right here, creating that connection with the people that watch your content, in my opinion, that's one of the things that I focus on more than anything on my channel, and it works, right? Because I want people to feel like I'm talking to them. I want you to feel like I'm talking to you, because I am, right? So in addition to that, you also want to make sure, of course, and everybody kind of beats this one to death, but it's extremely important because a lot of people aren't doing this. You want to make sure that you're providing real value of some kind. And what I mean by that, it can be anything. You don't have to be teaching people how to do stuff, but you can be inspiring people. You can be changing the way that people think about things. You can be entertaining people, making them laugh, to help them escape what's going on in their day or in their life. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of people on the internet. There's a lot of people in the world that when they watch your videos, they might not be in a great place, okay? So if you can help them escape that place, even if it's for 2 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, if you can help them escape that place and be a part of what it is that you're doing for that little bit of time, then you're winning. You're putting a positive contribution back into the planet. The next thing that you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that you involve your viewers, okay? What I mean by that is all of us, we all have everything that we want to do with our channel, right? Hey, I want to do this with my channel. I want to do this with my channel. I want to make these videos, that video, this video, that video. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're actually involving your community. Make your channel and your presence online, make it a community. Instead of just putting out your videos and saying, okay, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. That's okay too, but you also want to pull the viewers along with you. Get input. You know, if you have access to the community tab, if you're a 10,000 subscriber channel and you have access to the community tab, ask your viewers questions. Hey, what do you want to see? What do you want more of this year? Hey, I'm putting my content strategy together for 2018, and I'm trying to get some ideas of some things that are really going to add value to you. So here's 4 ideas for the type of content that you, as the viewer, as somebody that's in my audience, want me to make. Ask them things like that. Another example of this is for my Saturday live stream. I was trying to come up with a name for it, so I reached out to the community. Hey, I'm trying to come up with a name for my live stream. What should I call it? And I built in a prize with it, and a shout out, which I'll give Chris Plays a shout out here as well for giving me the name Nimmin Live, because I think it's a great fit. And basically that came from the community. So involving your community is another great way to help grow the community, because when you're involving people, then they're a part. They become connected, emotionally connected to what it is that you're doing. And then at the very end of the day, be cool, right? Don't be a snob. Don't be a jerk. Don't think that you're better than the people that are watching your videos. Don't talk down to people that are watching your videos. Don't be a jerk in your comments. Just be cool. You know, like if you're being cool and you're trying to lift people up and you're trying to just be positive and put positive stuff out there, people respond to that. If you're making videos and you're going to create a community of like-minded people that are also into that sort of thing. But if you create a channel or a bunch of videos that are all on all this negative stuff, hey, this is what's going on in this particular thing, this person said this and I can't even believe they said it, and you're focusing all of this stuff on the negative, then you're going to attract all of those people that are into all of that negative stuff. And it's your call if you want people, like that in your community or not. But just be cool. The cooler you are in terms of, just being cool to the people that are watching your content, replying to their comments, giving them hearts. If they mention you on Twitter, mention them back or reply or retweet or give them a like there. If they send you a message on Instagram, reply to that message. If they, just be cool. It can really get you a long way. So with that all out of the way, that is basically in a nutshell the things that you need to keep in mind when you're growing your channel here in 2018. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get into the Q&A portion of this. We're going to do that for about 15 minutes. And then after that, then we're going to move into the channel review or channel grading portion of the live stream. So let me pull this up. Okay, so Blake TGC asks, how did you get the ball rolling for your channel? Blake, that is a fantastic question. Thank you for answering, or thank you for asking, I should say. So to get the ball rolling on your channel, the first thing that you want to do is basically take all of the things that I just mentioned and keep them in mind. But as a small channel, the best way to get a small channel off of the ground is by learning how to rank your videos in search, right? Or making extremely viral, shareable type content, which most people don't know how to do. Now, I'm one of them. Like, as far as like viral content, I'm not the best person in the world for that. But the best way to get your channel actually off the ground and get that initial momentum going, those initial views coming in, the best way to do that is by learning how to rank your videos in search, making sure that you're targeting terms in search that are not that competitive, but still have a relatively safe search volume in terms of, if I make a video for this, it's definitely going to draw in views. Maybe it's not going to give me 1 million views, but it's definitely going to consistently draw in views if I can just rank for this particular term, right? You want to go for stuff like that. TubeBuddy actually has a feature when you are putting your SEO together, or you're actually researching your topics, to where they'll actually give you a ranking based on people that are currently dominating that particular term that you're trying to rank, and let you know a general idea of the chances that you have for actually competing for that term. So that's the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're ranking your videos in search. You also want to make sure that you're sharing your content in places that appreciate your content. Another thing that I highly recommend, and I can't stress this enough, is community integration. And by community integration, I mean basically embedding yourself into your niche so that people get to know who you are. Whatever type of content you make, even if you're making comedy content, right? Find every comedy outlet on the internet, every forum, every message board, every Facebook group, every subreddit, and actually embed yourself in the communities. Be there all the time and let people get to know you, and let people get to know you as the person that makes YouTube videos for that specific niche. I hope that helped you, Blake TGC. Next up here is Gareth Bale 11NL. Gareth asks, how can I get more views and subs? I use literally everything, thumbnails, tags, etc. And I know another guy, and he uploads the same things like me, but he earns way more subs and views without tags and owned thumbnails. Okay, so what's probably happening there is one, he's probably, hold on, let me make sure you said he. Yeah, number one is he's probably sharing that content somewhere. Number two, Blake TGC, my pleasure. I'm glad you found that helpful. Yeah, he's probably sharing his content somewhere that you're not. Whatever thumbnails that you think are not good that he's making in comparison to yours, unless you have actual data that supports that, then you're making that assumption, right? So one thing that is very important to do is make sure that you rely on data for this kind of stuff and not just what you think, right? Because as an example, like I have clients that I've worked with to where we thought, specifically, hey, these thumbnails are fantastic. People are definitely going to click on these. Without question, hey, this is it. Let's change all of your thumbs to this, right? We did that, and, it was better than it was, but we started running some variables with TubeBuddy's A/B testing feature, and we found out in both situations that the thumbnails weren't as good as we thought they were. We thought they looked great. We thought everything was crystal clear and all of that stuff. But for whatever reason, the fundamental elements of the thumbnails, people just weren't responding to them like we had hoped they were, because when we ran variants, the variants outperformed them considerably. So make sure that you're actually testing for that kind of stuff. So as an example, what you would do in your specific case there, Gareth Bale, 11NL, is you would say, okay, if they're making thumbnails like this, and I'm making thumbnails like this, and people are responding to their thumbnails, maybe I should try making some thumbnails like that and see if people respond to mine, right? And what you can do is you can use TubeBuddy's A/B testing feature, and you can say, this is my current thumbnail, and then I'm going to put up a thumbnail that's similar to theirs, and then TubeBuddy is going to give you real data based on people clicking on your thumbnails and based on how they act once they click on the thumbnails, how long they're watching, where you're actually pulling those clicks from in terms of search suggested and things like that, which thumbnail performs best in which particular spot. They're going to give you all of that data so you can say, okay, well, maybe this is why, right? Or maybe they are also titling their videos in a way that is more clickable, or that attracts more clicks than the way that you're titling your videos. And as far as the tags are concerned, you can rank videos. Let's be clear. You can rank videos without having any tags, or having bad tags even, in your videos. Without question, you absolutely can. However, when you're optimizing your tags, when you're optimizing all of this stuff, you're just drastically increasing your chances of ranking in search. And with that, you're saying that that the guy uploads the same thing, but he gets way more subs and views without tags. And part of that is he's getting more views without tags, but you don't know where his videos are being associated, right? What I mean by that is he might have one video or two videos or 5 videos that are positioned next to high traffic videos that are continually also driving traffic to him. And in your particular case, right now, at this point in time, you don't have a position like that next to other strong videos. And just that alone can be a game changer when it comes to the traffic that you're getting to your channel. And like Andrew just said in the chat, you also don't know if he's buying ads. You also don't know if he's buying subscribers and views, right? So that's the important thing about also making sure that you're competing against yourself, and that you're not competing against other people in terms of why is it that, of course, you want to look at other channels and say, why is it that I think that they are getting these results compared to the results I'm getting and all that. You want to do that, but you don't want to say, okay, well, this is just, it doesn't make sense that they're getting all of this traffic and I'm not, right? You can't do it that way because it'll end up driving you crazy. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Next up on the list here, Tech Time says, should I use my most popular video as sources to my newer videos? Absolutely, you should. And what you want to do is you want to put cards near the end of those videos or at drop-off points in those videos. So if you have videos that are performing extremely well, then what you want to do is you want to look in your audience retention reports and you want to see where people are starting to drop off more than the rest of the video. And then you want to put a card there that will send people deeper into your content for some of your newer videos. Next up, C4 Defense. Does YouTube discriminate based on channel content? I think we all know the answer to that one. If you're putting up horrible stuff, then there's definitely going to be blowback. Let's see here. What's your channel name? I am Baghead. Funny name. Love your name. How to get people to share my content, which will help build audiences and subscribers. More, even though I do believe my content is highly shareable and original. So if you think that your content is highly shareable and original, then you need to look in your stats and see if people are sharing your content. Because if you think it's shareable versus the actions that people are taking, if that is syncing up, then yeah, you got it. You're right. But if that's not syncing up and people are not sharing your content, then maybe your content isn't as shareable as you think it might be. And we all suffer from that because we're making it. So we typically tend to think that it's pretty good stuff, right? Because it's coming from our brains, we're making it, right? So this is another situation where you want to make sure that you're leaning on the actual data to tell you, are people sharing this or not? If people are sharing it, then that means that you are right and that your content is definitely more shareable. Now, how you actually get people to share your content is just by simply telling them. So if you're making shareable content already, and then you're reminding people to share your content, then that's how you get people to share your content. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you share it with one friend. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you share it to your Facebook page, right? Tell people exactly where you want them to share it also. But put those verbal calls to action in there. They're extremely powerful. Let's see here. Everything Remix asks, I love your channel. Is amazing work, but when I search, I don't have the level of search. Why? Can you take it again? I'm not sure on what you mean by can you take it again. But if you are not getting results in search, then typically that means that people are not watching your videos for longer than the people that you're trying to compete against in search. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your videos have strong audience retention. That's going to help you rank in search. 2, you want to make sure that you're going for multiple word keyword phrases. Instead of, as an example, instead of just going for fishing, right, it would be a better thing to go for something, and I just pulled that there from Creator Fundamentals, is instead what would be a better thing to go for would be like, fishing for, I don't know how people actually search for it in the fishing niche, but fishing for this particular kind of fish in this kind of location, right? And basically you make a bunch of videos squeezing you into all of those places. So those become traffic drivers, which helps you get the watch time authority built up on your channel, which can help you rank for stronger terms. And keep in mind, sometimes you can luck out and slide into a good ranking spot. But in most cases, you got to be a little bit more strategic about it. Let's see here. Next up is ZingCat. And is it worthwhile to organize older videos into playlists, or is it more helpful to do it going forward? Both. And the reason for that, again, is you want to make sure that you're taking advantage, and this is from ZingCat again, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of those series playlists. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of putting playlists together that you can link to, so that when people come in, you're increasing the likelihood of people binge watching your content, which gives you more views and more watch time. So absolutely, if you have a bunch of older videos that are not organized into playlists, go ahead and organize those into playlists when you get the chance. Global Gamers, Global G4M3RS. Hello, thank you for helping everyone. My question is, how is the best way to make changes to my channel without upsetting people, and the best way to do this? Thank you. the first thing that you want to do, global gamers, and I'm not sure how many people you have on your channel, but if you're wanting to make a serious change to your channel, like, hey, I'm making gaming content, but now I want to do vlogs, you're probably gonna lose a bunch of people. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do vlogs. Okay, what that means is that you need to say, okay, checking now. Okay, got it. So, oh yeah. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are, that when it comes to extensions, that when it comes to, let's see, there we go for that. There we go. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you are, making those changes, that you start drip feeding them in and see how your audience responds to them. If it's something that you just want to do and you're like, hey, I'm doing this no matter what, then just start doing it. And then you're just gonna have to deal with some people not liking it, some people liking it, and all of that. But if you are, if you're wanting to say, hey, I've built this awesome community here and I want to transfer the type of content that I'm making in that particular case, then just start dripping in some content and see how people respond. If they respond to it and you have a channel that's already rocking, then in that particular case, then feel free to add more. But if you put it out and people are not responding to it and you have a channel that's rocking, maybe it's best to do another channel to where you start putting that new type of content, and then you can just start making constant references to it to where you can siphon people off of the channel that's rocking and send them to the new stuff that you're doing. And that'll help you segment the people that are watching your content as well. So next thing that we're going to do is we are going to pull up some channels here to take a look at. So if you want your channel looked at, I'm going to do a micro channel review, aka channel grading, right now to give somebody in the chat some tips that they can use on their YouTube channel. So if you're interested in having me look at your YouTube channel, have me pull it up on the screen and give you some advice on your channel, things that you can do to improve, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. I'm just going to pull a random one right here out of the chat as they come in. And yeah, we've got a bunch of them coming in here now. So I'm going to click on this one, and I have a few personal requirements that I like to make sure in place. So, as far as being family friendly and stuff like that. So let me pull up some of these and see what we've got here. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to pull up a few here just for the sake of, seeing what it is that people are doing in their channels as well, making sure that nothing offensive is there in terms of like the channel trailers or something like that. And I'm also looking to make sure that people are updating on a regular basis too. That's a really important part of this. Okay. Man, I would love to do that one, but well, hold on. This might be yeah, that one's a little yeah, I would like to do that one. There's actually two that I just pulled up that I would like to do. But in terms of them being safe for everybody, I'm not trying to get TubeBuddy demonetized here, right? Let's see here. Okay, that one, I can't do that one. So while I'm pulling this up, just as a reminder about the parasocial interaction, when you get a chance, make sure that you look that up, because the concept there is pretty powerful. So now I found somebody here that I'm going to pull up, and let me transition them over. So Jay Dockett, I hope I'm saying that correctly. So here's what I have for you. Let me turn here and get comfortable. So what I have for you is one, I like how you do have the person here in your as your profile picture. I think that is awesome. And one thing that I would do is I would actually make it a clearer image of you, maybe put your face in here a little bit bigger. And the idea of this is basically just to show people that there's a person behind the channel, right? Because this one, you're showing that there's a person behind the channel, but it is kind of abstract when this is small and you're viewing this next to a comment or something like that. It is going to come across a little bit abstract. So I just put a clearer picture in there. You can use an app like Snapseed or something like that to kind of sharpen yourself up to really make your image pop, add some contrast, some sharpening, things like that to really kind of help pop your image out there. Now, up here, when I land on your channel, the first thing that comes to my attention is you have your name up here in this purple, and it really draws your attention, and the artwork looks fantastic, okay? But one thing that I have to figure out when I land on your channel page here is what type of content that you're putting out. So congratulations on the 7,000 subscribers, by the way. But when I'm looking at your channel, like I see that you're doing like football stuff. It looks like some basketball stuff, but there's no clear identification for what it is that you're doing, right? So let me scroll down here. Okay, so this is gaming stuff. Okay, so in your particular case, what I would do so that it's clear on your channel that you're doing gaming sports is I would say down here, I would just put, just like you have this up here, right? I would put something similar down here in the bottom that says, new gaming videos every, whatever the gaming videos. Let me see what your schedule is. Okay, so new gaming videos every day, right? So basically you have that clear statement right here to let people know that it's or new sports gaming videos or whatever phrase that you would use to define it. But basically for everybody in the chat right now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the idea here is that you're defining the type of content that you make so people don't have to figure it out. Because there's so much competition on YouTube, so many other channels on YouTube, so many options for people to watch. And because of that, you need to make it explicitly clear what type of content it is that you're offering on your channel. So that's the first thing I would recommend is basically putting a little thing down there, a little blurb saying the type of content it is that you offer. There's a specific game you cover, which it looks like there's a handful of specific games that you cover. I would also make sure that you're saying the games specifically. So like as an example, like if you're doing let's see what you're doing. Okay, so you're doing Madden. Okay, so you've got Madden in here. Oh, is this all Madden? Okay, so you're doing a lot of Madden stuff, some NBA 2K stuff. So okay, so in that case, what I would do is I would lose your social media stuff here, okay, because it's over here, right? So I would lose your social media stuff up here. I would put down here the actual, saying that it's a gaming channel, and then I would say up here the specific games that you cover. If that ends up looking a little too cluttered, then I wouldn't necessarily put the games that you cover up here, but I would try that, and as long as it still looks nice and clean, then I would put the games that you cover here, and then I would put the actual tagline of new sports videos every day, or new Madden and NBK videos every day. Right, and then that way you knock it out just in one statement. You knock out the whole thing, which is good. Next up, as I scroll down your page, another thing that I would recommend is I would also move your uploads here. And the reason for that is if you go to your channel right now on an iPhone, okay, the iPhone is going to display a bunch of videos before you get to your current content, okay? So what's going to happen is when your page loads, it's going to take a bunch of scrolls to even get to any of your current content to know that you're an active channel. And that's why this is really important, okay? So by moving your uploads to the top, what you're doing is you're letting people know, hey, this is an active channel. I'm uploading every day. I've uploaded, 3 videos just within the last 48 hours, right? So moving this uploads up here reduces that, hey, this channel, that feeling or that thought of, wow, is this person even uploading anymore? It reduces that or eliminates that for people that are viewing on a mobile device. And in your case also, because you're doing gaming content, I would look and I would say, hey, how many of my viewers are coming in on a mobile? Okay. And make sure that you're optimizing everything for a mobile device. And that includes how you're structuring your channel. Now, I would also make sure that you are putting a description for all of your playlists, extremely important, and make sure that you're also putting a title here that is a little bit more click-worthy. And what I mean by that is, let's say that this showed up in search. It's a really good idea to make sure that this is something that is intriguing enough for people to click on it. Instead of just using it as an identifier of the type of content in that playlist, make it something that people would actually want to click on, okay? Another thing I highly recommend, and I'm like an advocate for this, is to put some kind of branding mark on your content. You've got 7,000 subscribers, okay? So by putting some type of branding mark on your content, for the people that love the content that you make, for the people that watch your content regardless, hey, I don't care if he's playing NBA 2K, I don't care if he's playing Madden, I love watching this guy play games. For that, you want to have a branding watermark on here, or a branding graphic on here, so that people can identify your content. Like, as an example, if this shows up in a suggested feature, a branding mark, to answer your question, Sparky 107 is basically a little graphic that you would put here, maybe in the corner or something like that, to where it basically just a little graphic in the corner, maybe down here in the bottom, and it would have like a logo or something like that on it to let people know that it's yours. Okay. So what happens here is, like, when this video shows up, there's nothing here that lets your fans, because you already have a following, there's nothing here that lets your fans know that this is yours, with the exception of this, which is, these are the two smallest things on YouTube because they're the least important things on YouTube. The biggest thing that people see, the most attention-grabbing thing, is the thumbnail. The second is the actual title itself, right? So you want to make sure, yeah, if you have Photoshop, you can definitely do this there. But you want to make sure that you're putting some type of mark on here so that people can recognize your content as your content. Now, as far as your titles are concerned and all of that, I'm not sure in terms of the gaming space for these particular games, but just make sure that these are search friendly. I'm assuming they are, but just make sure that they are, if just in case they are not currently. But yeah, those are the two big ones, or that's the main advice that I have from you from looking at this at a glance. And one more thing as well is, I would also make sure in your other great channels that you actually fill this list out, and that you put other channels that are similar to yours in this list. So let's say that right now you're at like 7,000 subscribers. Put some of your favorite channels in here that are also gaming related, or that complement your channel in some way, but that are either around the subscriber count that you have or bigger, unless you're trying to hook somebody up by putting a smaller channel in there as well. But basically, the idea there is you want your content to be associated with all these other channels, and one thing that can help you do that is by sending viewers to those channels, so that you get in the viewer histories of people that are watching those channels as well. So yeah, so those are the main tips that I have for you right now in that little mini review. And now, Andrew, give me a sound off on this one. If I'm clear to, should I go into the questions, or should I go into Susan's? I'm actually going to send that to you on Skype too, so that you can see it. And while I'm waiting for that reply, I'm going to go ahead and answer one more question here. The next question that is on the list here says, Alexander MacLead asks if you Alexander love the emoji. Alexander MacLeod, I hope I'm saying your name right. The question is, can you grow a successful YouTube channel with a different variety of videos? Absolutely. Yes, you can. Is it going to be a longer process? Most likely. Of course, in some cases, you'll have like one video about this particular thing that ends up just taking off, and then that will be a primary traffic driver to your channel. Your view to subscribe ratio will be horrible, but you'll still be generating subscribers. You'll still be generating views and growth. But if you want to like seriously fine-tune stuff and turn your channel into like a growth machine, the way that you do that is by niching down and really focusing on a particular type of content. Let's see here. Learn Spanish World asks, how many times should a channel be uploading videos in order to grow in a consistent manner? That's a really great question. And to grow in a consistent manner can mean a bunch of different things. There's growing in a consistent manner as far as gaining, 100 subscribers a month, or there's growing in a consistent manner as far as growing, 50,000 subscribers in a month or more. So I recommend to people that you upload like 2 or 3 videos a week. The reason that I recommend that is, one, because it keeps you fresh in viewer histories. It keeps you at the top of people's minds, which is really important. Hinch, herbivore, what is going on? But that's really important. So basically, you want to stay in viewer histories, which is important. You want to stay at the top of people's minds, which is even more important. If you're trying to grow a channel and you're trying to grow your influence overall online, just like anything else in life, just like advertising companies or advertising campaigns, you want to keep hitting people with your content. Hey, remember me? Hey, here's another video. Remember me? Hey, here's another video. Remember me? So even if you're putting out awesome content, if you can do it at least 2-3 times a week, then that's definitely going to help your growth. And the reason for that is, one, like I said, you're in the user history, you're staying at the top of mind. And in addition to that, you're also creating, like right now, in most cases on channels, what happens is they upload a video, right? They upload a video here, and then over the course of the week, you know, their channel starts tapering down if they upload once a week. That's fine. You can grow that way. However, if you're uploading a video on this day, and then before it drops down too much, whoa, hey, here's another video. And then before that one drops down too much, whoa, hey, here's another video, bringing it back up again. What happens is you eventually, by doing that, you turn your channel into something that you can literally count on. And you can say, okay, I know that as long as I'm uploading videos, 3 times a week, even if those videos are not doing spectacular, I know that by doing that I'm going to consistently generate X amount of views. I know that I'm going to consistently generate X amount of subscribers. And I know, depending on how you're using your channel, if you're using it for business, then you say, I know that's also going to help me generate X amount of leads, X amount of email signups, X amount of sales, or whatever. So it's really important that you upload on a regular basis. And the more that you can do it, the better. One more question here for this, and then we're going to go into Susan's review, and that's going to be a fun one. So make sure that you stick around for that. Michelle Lawrence says, my videos were recently demonized. I think you meant demonetized. Either way, I mean, I guess it's the same thing, right? On YouTube. I watched the video in the Facebook group, but I did find the form that was referenced. I have a small channel and hope to make it bigger and better. Money is definitely going to play a part of that. Hope that you can help me with my settings. I'm not sure how to answer your question because I don't fully get what your question is. What's going on, Susan? Nice to see you in here. But yeah, I'm not fully getting what your question's about. So you're saying that your channel is demonetized, and that you watched a video in a Facebook group. I'm not really sure of your question there. Basically, if you are wanting to keep your videos from being demonetized, then you need to really look at the topics that you're covering, and you also really need to look at all of the metadata themselves, and you need to look at what it is that you're saying in your actual videos. As an example, in my video descriptions, I used to put, as a reference to TubeBuddy, I used to put my secret weapon for YouTube growth. Well, what happened is I kept getting flagged for something, and I wasn't, I didn't know what it was, and then it hit me, and I was like, oh, well, let me change this and take that out and change it to something else, and I did, and as soon as I did that, it massively reduced the amount of videos that were being demonetized. So you just want to look at all of your data or all of your, your metadata and the topics and what it is you're actually saying, and see if you can make adjustments there to figure out what it is that's actually causing that. So now we are going to go on to Susan's review here. Now, with Susan's review, I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I just covered already, and we're also going to go into some additional aspects of what's going on here on her channel. The very first thing that I want to emphasize, and this is important for everybody that's in the chat right now, is if you look at her header, it looks great. It looks fantastic looking header. It's nice and clean and classy. But if you look at this on a phone, you're going to see that it's going to get cut off somewhere around here. I've got my little marker for this sort of thing. It's going to get cut off on a phone somewhere around here. So you're going to miss her entire value proposition, and it's going to get cut off somewhere over here, which is also going to cut off her name. So it's going to look like Ann Evolves instead of Susan Evolves. Okay. So her picture is going to fit, it looks like, but on a mobile device, this is going to be bad. So the first thing she needs to do, she needs to scoot this over, and she needs to scoot this over here as well. A good thing to make all of this as safe as possible, a really easy way to fix all of this is basically, you would have like your main title or channel name or whatever here, and then you would have your value proposition down here under that, and you keep everything nice and centered, so that no matter what people are viewing it on, you definitely don't have anything cutting off, and all of your messaging and all that stuff is still coming through nice, loud, and clear. Next thing, as I scroll down here, I see what she's doing there with making all of the like her new titles and all of that, look similar, which is fantastic. She's also putting herself in the thumbnails, which is also fantastic. But just like I was telling the other channel, in her particular case as well, even though she's only got 102 subscribers or 72 subscribers right now, it's also important that she has some type of branding mark on here. And the reason for that is the same as I was telling the other channel, and that's so that people over time can get used to seeing that, and that's the identifier that they use to know that it's her content, especially with the type of content that she's creating, because the audience that she's going to be creating with this or generating with this, definitely important that they can recognize her content, because I'm sure that they're actually going to love her once they get used to watching her channel, and once they lean on that parasocial interaction there. So the another reason that I'm really focusing on that as well is because the ones that she's in all of these, right? This one's a little abstract, but she's in all of these. But here, like, there's nothing here connecting this to her. There's nothing here connecting this to her because she's not in these. So her putting herself into these thumbnails or doing something else that viewers can start to recognize is definitely going to be a win for her. Now, another thing that Susan really needs to focus on is how she's titling her videos. So one thing that you want to keep in mind here is YouTube even specifically states that you want to put any... Well, first, I want to tell everybody here, make sure that you go through the Creator Academy, right? Because a lot of this stuff, like, they tell you a lot of this stuff as well. The Creator Academy, it's absolutely free on YouTube. And basically what it is, it's essentially an instruction manual for how to use their platform, okay? And then you learn, advanced ninja tricks in addition to that, as you get access to more data on your channel and other people's channels and things like that, depending on what it is that you're doing. But at the very basic level, go through the YouTube Creator Academy and learn how to optimize everything for their system, okay? But what they say is, if you look right here, Susan is putting, and let's see if I can zoom in on this. I'm not sure if I can. Yeah. So what you'll see here is that Susan is putting vlog 3 up here at the front, and then she's putting Into the Wild Elephant Chilling and Droning. So what YouTube suggests is that you put any identifying information in the back of the video. So in her case, where she's doing vlog 3, that vlog 3 should be here in the back of the video. And YouTube specifically suggests that the most important info, which should be understood as the terms that you're trying to rank for, should go up towards the front of your title. So to cover that again, identifiers to the back, most important information to the front of your titles. Okay. So make sure that you do that, Susan, as soon as you possibly can. And everybody that is watching this right now, and everybody that's going to watch this on the replay, that's super important. So make sure that you do that. Another thing, like I mentioned on the other channel as well, is in situations like this, right? You want to look at your playlist descriptions and you want to say, okay, if this showed up, just think about it for a second. Say, okay, if this showed up suggested in a sidebar next to a video, would I click on something that just says social experiments? Or should I make this a little bit more intriguing? As an example, let's say instead of social experiments, it would be something like social experiments. I don't know off the top of my head, but basically something to sensationalize isn't the word that I'm going for, but something that would make this just a little bit more click worthy. And I'm gonna come up with an example here in just a second. Okay, so like here as an example, she did 2-hour meditation, 100 days. That one is a little bit more clickable because it's like, okay, 2-hour meditation, 100 days. She's got some numbers in there and she's got the 100 days. So it's kind of like, okay, well, what's going on here, right? So it's a little bit more interesting in terms of the click. But social experiments can be interesting. But how would you fix this? So one example, let's see here, social experiments. You should know. Social experiments you should watch. Social experiments that blew my mind. Social experiments, something like that makes it just a little bit more interesting for the click instead of just an identifier. So she is using descriptions here, which is also good. I would also make sure that you're using more keyword-rich language in your description for your playlist. And by keyword-rich language, what I mean by that is basically if your phrase would be social experiments, right? Then what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I need to make language here. I need to say words down here that are also in some way related to social experiments so that I can increase my chances of discoverability and increase the chances of this particular playlist ranking in search. Next up, oops, close that. Okay, so next up here we're going to go to her about page. Conscious adventures and challenges for you to live a deep all-around live and create better life patterns. To create deep all-around life. Okay, I think she might have meant life there. I'm not sure. But yeah, so here, what she's doing here, this is actually one of the things that a lot of people overlook. But just to let you know in the chat, because she's actually doing this part right. So what I'm getting ready to say doesn't apply to her per se, but make sure that you're looking at your about page for the reason I'm getting ready to tell you. So in her case, she has conscious adventures and challenges for you to live a deep, all-round life and create better life patterns. She needs a period there. But what happens is if somebody shares her channel page, just like if somebody shares your channel page for watching this chat right now or listening to this chat, if somebody shares it, the first, I think it's 156 characters, I believe it is, show up in a card for the hover on YouTube. But on Twitter, this part right here, Facebook as well, is going to show up as the description of your channel. So you want to make sure that the information that you have in this first line, let me make that a little bit more clear, the information that you have at the very front of your Andrew, at the very front of your description is intriguing to people. What happens is a lot of people will waste this area and they'll say, like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is blah, blah, blah. And they'll go into that, right? And by doing that, they're wasting the entire intro when people share their channel. So that's hurting them when people are sharing their content because it's making their channel look less interesting to the people that are looking at that. Now, if you take that and you change this to something like she has, to where you put the value that the people are going to get from watching your content at the very front, and then you put additional stuff down here in the bottom, that's how you properly optimize your description to make sure that you are you're communicating properly to the people that are seeing your video or your channel everywhere else on the internet, in addition to on the platform itself. So what I also recommend here for your description, I also recommend that you put, in addition to what it is you're doing for the viewer, I also recommend putting a little bit of something about yourself as well. So for the people that are interested about the creator, in addition to the content that they make, so that they can see there that, hey, this person, has this particular background, or this person is trying to accomplish this particular mission, or something like that, just to kind of give a little bit more information about yourself and just kind of fill this area out a little bit more. Now, another thing that I would recommend to Susan is, even though right now she does not have a lot of subscribers on her channel, right? I mean, she does have a lot of subscribers, but, in terms of YouTube and what people usually perceive as a lot of subscribers, she doesn't. So I would not recommend her to do a bunch of off-site linking right now. But what I would recommend that she did is on her About Me page, she has the option to add links here, and those links will show up here in her channel art. I would recommend to her that she also puts a click here to subscribe link up here that links directly to her YouTube channel with a auto subscribe link attached to that. And what that is, I actually have a video about that in a little bit more detail on my channel. You can check that out. But basically what that is that basically makes it to where when they click on that call to action up here, it actually pops up a little box confirming that they want to subscribe to the channel. Next up is on her featured channels, just like I was mentioning on the other channel. On the featured channels, I would also make sure that she adds other like channels to this list for the same exact reason, is basically generating that that additional connection between similar channels to help YouTube categorize her with or along with other channels. I see that she's already using a subscribe watermark here. But one thing that I would recommend in her particular case, because this thing's so small, it's almost non-existent, is I would recommend using like a bigger square button for that instead, because when you do turn this into a bigger size, this almost disappears. It's so small. So I would turn that into a bigger button if you can, Susan. Another thing that I'd recommend to Susan, and let me open up her videos page before I mention this. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, so she's got a decent amount of content here. So one thing that I would also recommend to Susan is to make sure that she's putting this stuff into series playlists, and that she's actually remembering to add the videos to a playlist as well. Like here, it looks like she's put a bulk of her content here in the 2-hour meditation, 100 days. So I would also, you know, basically make videos for the sake of playlists, like I was talking about earlier. And that's one thing that to really keep in mind that's important here on YouTube is you absolutely, without question, you want to put up the videos that are things that you want to make. But in addition to that, you also want to think about it. And you want to say, okay, well, if I'm going to put up these kind of videos, how can I release these videos so that I can group them together into series playlists so that I can generate more views and watch time and all of that stuff, right? Very important. Another thing that I would tell her in her situation is I would also tell her to update her channel art, or not her channel art, I'm sorry, her profile picture here, to fill her face more there instead of just making it like a side thing going on, just to let people, you know, just get a real nice clear shot of her face, because she's doing that in her thumbnails already. So just a nice smiling face, you know, hey, you know, I'm a nice person, I'm a smiling person, you know, put one of these pictures there instead of something like that. It's another thing that I would strongly recommend to her. Now, I'm also going to be going into the back end of her channel in terms of, you know, getting access to her stats. I sent her a message on Facebook already, so I'm going to be doing that as well for her. So some of that information I won't be able to share with you here, but I will be able to share that with her. So another thing that I would recommend with her, and I'll explain this as well for anybody that's watching this right now, is with your YouTube channel, the idea with all of this stuff, right, is that you want to make sure, and I'm going to pull this over here real quick just to kind of emphasize this point, is you want to make sure that you are, to the best of your ability anyway, you want to make sure that you are you want to make sure that you are creating a trap of sorts. And what I mean by that is that you're creating a viewer and a watch time trap on your channel. One of the ways that you can do that is by the series playlists, right, that I mentioned before. Another way that you can do that is by, of course, handing your videos off via cards to other videos that you make. And you can also structure your description as well to generate subscribes and to generate more watch time. So what you do is basically you go ahead and you optimize for search. So here she has, you know, how to create your best year ever adventure challenge 2018. I'm going to guess that, hold on, how to create your best year ever. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure if that's even something that people are searching for, but if it is, if you found, you know, if you research this, Susan, and you found otherwise, then what you're doing here is on the right path as far as how to create your best year ever. How to create your best year ever. You're definitely going by best practices there, which is good. But make sure that you're going for stuff that people are actively searching for on a regular basis. But what I'm getting at here is basically what you want to do in your description. You also want to add an auto-subscribe link, just like I was talking about adding up here at the top. In addition to that auto-subscribe link down here in the description, you also want to make sure, like right here, she has this where she's basically remaking her title. I would actually do this title in natural language, and I would do like this paragraph here, and then after that paragraph, I'd put an auto-subscribe link, and then after that, I would do a little bit more, and then down here, I would put links to other playlists. And that's part of creating that trap, right? Basically, I would create other links down here that are relative to the particular video that they are watching. I would put those playlist links down here to encourage people to watch more of her content. So as people are going through the description, they're like, okay, oh, that's right, I haven't subscribed yet. Let me make sure to click this to subscribe. And then as they continue to scroll down through the description, oh, here's another playlist on how to have a great year, or whatever the topic is. Here's another playlist on that, or here's another 2 or 3 options for more content to watch. She is answering comments, which is a good thing. So if you go over to her channel and you subscribe and you start commenting over there, it looks like she will answer your comments, which is good. Another thing I would recommend to her and everybody watching the chat is also pinning comments can be part of your trap strategy. And basically what that means is basically you can put links to other playlists, like I was talking about at the very beginning of this, in terms of the power of playlists, right? Is you can put links to other playlists in terms of, hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this particular video on this particular thing, link to the playlist. Or you can do it the simple way by just putting a watch this video next, and then a link to a playlist that's relative to the content that you are making. So basically what just happened there is, on this video watch page, you increased your chances of gaining a subscriber by putting that link here in your description. You also increased your chances of people watching more of your content by putting the playlist links in your description. And you also increased your chances of people watching more of your content by creating and pinning a top comment in your comment section as well. So yeah, so those are my main, because we're because we're cruising along here on time. So those are my main things for her. Like I said, I'm going to go into the back end of her channel as well and give her an actual in-depth channel evaluation, because she is a winner of the TubeBuddy giveaway. So for that, she's going to have to add me as a channel manager, and then I actually get to go in and look at her stats and see how the audience is responding, and see everything else that's happening on her channel, because that's where the real help happens. And see everything else that's happening on her channel, so that we can hopefully get her a lift as long as she follows the advice. But Andrew just put a link to Susan's channel, so make sure that you head over to Susan's channel and you subscribe to her if you have not yet. And when you subscribe to her, tell her that that TubeBuddy sent you there, or Nick and Andrew from TubeBuddy sent you over there. So that she can know where you came from. Just leave a comment on one of her videos, let her know, and follow the progress. Head over there. I'm not sure if she'll take the suggestions that I give her, but if she does, follow the progress over there, and you'll be able to see over the next, say, like 3 to 4 months, you'll be able to see a lift in her channel based on the tips that I give her, as long as she follows the advice. So with that, where did my Skype go? I think I lost my, there we go. Yep, got it. Yep, got it. Yeah, I see that there. Okay. Alrighty. So, okay, so now I'm going to do just a couple more questions here really quick. Okay. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to, okay, so I'm actually going to pull up one more here, and I'm just going to do a really quick run through on another channel here really quick. Now, this channel here is Weird Minutes, okay? So on Weird Minutes, I'm going to give you some just quick tips here on yours. I won't go as in-depth as I did on the other one. But basically on your channel, you want to make sure that, again, that you're defining what's going on in your channel right up here in your channel art. I would also use a horizontal playlist here instead of a vertical playlist, so that you can get more content on your channel page to let people know faster what type of content it is that you're offering. I would also make sure that you're adding more channels that are relevant to yours over here. I would make sure that you're adding the branding watermark there as well. Here you have Short Creepy Horror Story, My Family, Episode 2, Escape from Death audiobook. So this is another situation to where you're putting like episodes and things like that that should be here at the end. And it looks like maybe you're reading books. Might be what you're doing here. But, you know, either way it goes, like I would just make sure that you are defining the type of content that you're putting out and be real careful. I think this fits on mobile, but I would just make sure. But define the type of content that you're putting out. Make sure you put some type of branding mark on there. And really, one thing that I recommend to everybody is try to get like a nice visual brand pulled together anyway, so that even if you didn't have a branding watermark or anything like that on there, or a branding mark on your thumbnails, that people can still recognize your content by the style that you use when you create your thumbnails. And with that said, I want to give Andrew again. I want to give Andrew a shout out and a big thank you for the moderation in this chat. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it, as does everybody in the chat, I'm sure. And I also want to say that if you have not installed TubeBuddy yet, you're really missing out, because TubeBuddy can be a game changer for your channel. I personally, right now, I have over 122,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm gaining like 13,000 subscribers plus per month, and TubeBuddy is a huge contributor to that because of all of the tools that they have, all of the data that they give me in terms of letting me know what thumbnails work and things like that, and by making it easy for me to rank my videos in search. So make sure that if you do not have TubeBuddy installed yet, that you head over to tubebuddy.com/install and you go ahead and put TubeBuddy in right now. And thank you so much for watching the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. My name is Nick Nimmin. I help YouTubers grow their channels, make videos, and all types of other YouTube-related stuff. If you're not familiar with me, or this is your first time seeing me, then make sure that you also click the link in the description to head over to my channel and check me out if you want to learn how to grow your channel, make videos, and all types of other YouTube-related stuff. And if you're not subscribed to TubeBuddy, make sure that you do that now. And I hope that everybody in the chat, everybody that's been watching this, has learned something from this video. I hope it's added value to you in some way to help you here in 2018, to help you grow your YouTube channel in 2018. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.